Today I want to talk to you about ComponentKit. So our mission at Connected is to build better products, and ComponentKit is a new UI layout framework that is slightly different than auto layout. It does things very differently. It has a bit of a learning curve, but I believe that we need to challenge our assumptions on how we build apps to make sure that we're always building the best thing. If we become complacent to a problem, say that this problem is solved, we become blindsided to new and innovative solutions. So here's ComponentKit. It's a bit different. I go through some of the benefits and drawbacks later on, but at least I'll be good for questions. So I'm going to talk a bit about the motivation behind ComponentKit, how does it work, some of the results, implementation, and then some quick steps on how to get started. I've been using ComponentKit on some of my personal projects as well as a couple of client projects. I don't use it exclusively. I use UIKit as normal depending on my application. It's good to have both in mind. So what is ComponentKit? ComponentKit is a view layout framework for iOS. It's heavily inspired by React. It takes a declarative approach to UI with an emphasis on immutability and a one-way flow of data. The library is actually built by Facebook using the principles of React. There's many other libraries kind of like it. This is one approach. So this could apply to others. I don't have too much experience with the other ones. Keep that in mind. So some of the motivation behind it. I'm going to take a simple app example. Let's say this is the App Store, and we're going to try and architect this with an MVC approach. So it has the main app updates view, a couple of cells. In the cells, there's a download view, a header, some details. We could put everything in an app updates view controller, but then we'll run the risk of like one massive view controller. So let's try and break it down a bit. We're going to have a cell controller, a download controller, and a detail controller. And these will handle actions that the user can do as well as get updates from their model store. We're going to go with this example. There's other ways to tackle this problem, but this should take the picture. So here the app update controller will configure your collection view, kind of set up your network calls. That'll be kind of basic. It'll also set up all your cells and communicate with app cell controllers. And the cell controller will configure a download controller and app detail. So you have a lot of communication downwards. This is good, pretty easy to manage. The cell controller will configure the view for the cell, download for the download area, and the details for the detail area. The detail area also needs to handle user tabs. So let's say that detail area you can show images and text and videos. The user can interact with it, expand the view to show more details. That needs to kind of tell the controller back and say, hey, the user did something. This is now bigger, or has to play data. So that needs to go back up to the app cell controller and say, hey, adjust my size, which needs to go back to the function view and say, hey, adjust my size. Now you have data flowing in multiple directions. And when you do this, you risk layout issues or just like confusing paths. And then once the data gets back up to the update controller, you need to, or the app updates view controller, update the collection view, reload that section, figure out which section to reload or reload the whole thing. So what happens when you introduce a network? So your model store, let's say that's your network cache, or maybe you have a local cache layer. Now this needs to communicate directly with the app updates controller, going back and forth, saying, hey, there's new updates available. You usually get a pull to refresh.
I'm sorry, it's a little hard to hear you this far away.
Sure.
Just pick it up.
Is that better?
Much better.
I'll just hold it. So the model store and the app updates controller usually does a pull refresh, or let's say the network notifies the app to say, hey, there's new updates available. Let's say that's a feature I want. The list needs to constantly reload with that. as well as our download controller. This is managing how a user downloads an app once the progress. They're communicating back and forth, and then the download controller needs to communicate upwards. So there's a lot of complexity here for a somewhat simple view. Sorry about that. So what can we do? And how do we make this better? Also consider, let's say I want to add more performance. Let's say I have to render a lot of different text and it's taking a while. I'm dropping frames when I'm scrolling. So I want to try to use some different threading if I can. You know, that's kind of dangerous when you're dealing with UI. So how do we tackle this problem? Here's some examples of just the App Store and calendar of broken layout. So it happens all the time, almost on a daily basis. You can see I can almost not click the travel time or download. I don't know what's going on here. This is like latest software. So it happens very frequently. This is a component. So this is me trying to build that same view with the component. It's a declarative approach. Here I'm saying this is what my component wants to be. It's built off of a flex box. And inside of it I lay out a download and a header view. And then underneath it I say, hey, there's a detail table. I can say I want these to stack and stretch or have padding. I'll go into a bit more detail and dive into this a bit more. So what is ComponentKit? It's a library built in Objective-C++. The Objective-C++ makes the syntax a bit more concise. If they did it in Objective-C, it would have a very massive definition. If you look back here, it's pretty small, kind of looks like a nib. In Objective-C, you can't have optional stuff. I wish they would have built it in Swift because it doesn't have that ability. And there's other frameworks that use this. So how does it work? So here I focused on what my UI should really look like. I don't need to worry about the flow of data, where it's coming from. All I know is that, this method is actually implemented in a component for model class method. It's a pure function to be called from anywhere, any thread. It returns an immutable component that can be changed later on. And I'm just using some stuff here, like the text and the app ID or description text. Those are coming directly from my model. I don't need to worry about the size of stuff. This component lives in a view that is of certain width and certain height, and it'll stretch to be vertical. It'll actually take up the space it needs. It'll go down from the children up to the parent view to say, hey, the child is this height, and it has siblings that are this height, and that lays out my parent view in a certain way. You have other control of sizing. You could go from your view controller down with the size provider to have more fine-grained control. So there is options there if you want to change your size in different ways. So what does it do? What are the basics of it? So one, it's a declarative layout. Layouts are based off Flexbox, basically. It's kind of CSS, kind of like React if you've ever used that, and they're declarative. So there's no real need to do very complex frame calculations. No mutability on your views. You treat your component as immutable, and that's a very different concept. So they can't be mutated on the fly, causing layout issues. What actually needs to happen is if the model changes or if the view has to update its state, it goes all the way back up, and your view hierarchy is completely recalculated.
So we can turn the phone or something.
Yep.
Or you turn on the iPad, you have like the app side.
Yep.
My side, and just
The framework will recalculate it for you. It does strict review, so I'll get into that. So it does do updates as well, and it'll preserve the state. So your text lives in the state on a component. I have had bugs where you're typing and you have to kind of get it right. For example, if you highlight and like move over, preserve that state as well. So you need to be a bit cautious of that. There are ways to get delegate callbacks for text fields as well. Because components are completely reused throughout the system, you need to have a component controller. That is your delegate. it's all kind of handled in the framework as well.
So does this support automatic data mining?
You kind of have to do it yourself. It's you override component from model, pass in your model, and that's where you go from there.
Does the declarative layout work for?
It does render down in UI today. So there's some magic in the library. It is open source. You can kind of read it yourself. I haven't dug into all the details on how it does it, but it does render down views constraints. It preserves a good view hierarchy. You can still debug with the view hierarchy text code.
So you do all the layout in your declarative layout. Don't touch all of
No. So I don't touch it at all. If I have an app, I usually say in my app I want it all to be in one way, so it's kind of consistent. So depending on the application, I'll choose to use it or not.
Can you animate changes from one layer to another?
There is support for animations. They're a bit tricky, so there's basic support. If you want to do very complex support, you might have to do a lot of customization and get a bunch of work done to make that behaviors you want. Same with gestures. There's basic gestures like tap, swipe, and pen. But some that are completely custom, you might need to dig in and build your own components around it. All this is to preserve a one-way data flow. So again, if a view needs to be updated, the model gets updated and goes all the way back to the top, and your whole view hierarchy is recalculated based on that. So declarative layout. So inspired heavily by React. So you don't need to implement size that fits or layout subviews. You don't need to position your views underneath each other. Who's the parent, who's the child. All you do is you say this view needs to be stacked vertically or horizontally with this view, or overlay these views. Inset this in this much. So purely declarative.
What is the difference between this and stack? Because like so far it seems like it's very
Stack views don't necessarily preserve the one-way flow of data. That's one of the bigger benefits. Here you could declare a UI, and there's other ways to do that. But how do you bubble up information in a way that's really performant?
yeah, but like for like, just building UI is the same.
Yeah, immutable views. So this is a different concept. So if the model is changed, the whole component gets reloaded, the whole tree gets reloaded. So how does it do that? How does it actually preserve performance? Isn't that really expensive? You're reloading your whole view every time something changes. So ComponentKit uses very strict recycling and reuse behind the scenes. It does it at the lowest level UI component. So if the label needs to get reused, it'll find a label in the reuse pool and use that. It does apply a differential of the configuration. So label is configured with the text font. And you'll just apply that, but reuse the old label. And all of that is completely isolated in the framework. That's how it keeps its performance up. Basically, as a view is being laid out, it just says, hey, does one exist in my reuse pool? No. We'll make one and continue down. That poses complications with state. So if you have a switch that needs to preserve state, so inside ComponentKit, they built in a state on each component. If a component gets reloaded or recreated or reused, ComponentKit will manage the state and pass it from component A to component B, even though usually they may look and render in the same view. And components can also update their own state, so there's methods on components to update state. Say, turn the switch on, or update model as well. Go back, do overnight. This is a flow of data diagram, so it's one-way data flow. Here's your models. It goes down to your component descriptions through component per model, and then the infrastructure will handle rendering your views from there. So it's a one-way data flow. You don't need to come back and say, hey, this changed. I only want to change this part of the view. That causes issues. That causes bugs. So this helps with that. So some of the results. So like I said, this is made and used by Facebook, so they put publicly about their results. And I've used it personally as well. So I found a much better programming model because components are pretty easy to read. It's a declarative UI. There's much less merge conflicts between large teams, and easy to track. You don't have to have any storyboards or nibs. I still think prototyping and storyboards and nibs is the fastest way to get something on your phone and just play with it. But if you have a complex UI with a large team building it, you can come up with a different programming model here. You get much less code in this way. Layout code can be very long and complicated. The library itself deals a lot with performance. It's thinking about reuse, about rendering off screen, about isolating stuff in background with, and so it's geared for performance and any benefits and upgrades to performance of the library builds you'll benefit from. And then this framework does all the heavy lifting. So you say this is what I want my UI to look like, and it'll try and do that. Or this is what I want to do when this gets clicked, and it'll do that for you. Or if it's a state change, handle complicating state changes. So some limitations. So it is a very different layout paradigm. So it has a large learning curve. If you're familiar with CSS and React, this could be an easier transition to layout on iOS. If everyone's familiar with auto layout and UI kit, it is quite a bit of learning curve. I'm not a master on it. And it is updated frequently, so things change a lot. So it's not auto layout, so things like safe area, it took me a little while to update my apps to really use the safe area, because it wasn't natively supported, so I need to pass variables into my components through my state to say, hey, this is how much safe area you have. The big one is no Swift support. Because it's Objective-C++, they don't play well together. There is a Swift version that is made by a couple developers just on their GitHub. So I'm not sure how much support it has, but there are versions of this out there. Animations and gestures, like I said, there's basic support, but very complex ones you have to go down to either making your own new subclass with layer animations or gestures. I haven't really been too much with gestures. It is easy to add like just a basic tap or swipe gesture. You can add that to any component and say on tap do this. So it's pretty good, but complex support you might have to take a lot. And then just knowing when to apply it. If you're building a static layout that doesn't update much, this might be an overkill application. If you're building a long scrolling list with tons of data that can be changing at any point in time, that needs to preserve performance, this could be a good use. How do I get started? So ComponentKit.org has a lot of information. There's also a bunch of people using it on the internet. It's open source. Their GitHub is updated frequently. These are the basic layout components that you will use day to day. Labels, buttons, images, as well as stacks, insets, overlays. You can do pretty much any type of layout with these components. There's a couple other ones with like background views or different ways to lay out, but these are the basic ones that you can use in most of your layouts. And that's all I got for you. Thank you.
Has this happened to you, where you run into situations where data, like your model is updated at a time where you don't really expect it to be updated, and then kind of creates race conditions or kind of screws things up in your app?
So it doesn't really create race conditions because everything is like your UI will update as you're sent. That does happen a lot. You'll see like weird statements of like, wait, why did that update? But that stuff shouldn't cause issues. Your component will get laid out with what your model and what how you map your model to your component. That's how it'll get laid out. So I haven't seen much bugs with it. It does often trigger at times, and you kind of keep diving into it, but it doesn't cause too many issues.
I mean, It seems to me that this is sort of created to fulfill like a dogmatic adherence to an ideology. I'm serious. I write code and then I leave after 6 weeks, right? So if I was to implement this for a client and walk away, like how could I justify that? I guess, right? Like because and you said yourself, like so I'm leaving them with a ton of time, right? Because they don't have anyone to this. I've left them in a position where they can't implement innovation adjusters without much pressure. They don't have auto layout. There's no like no divs or sort of like other than a project that I'm working on with myself, like how could I implement this?
Sorry, before you add that answer to that, can I add an addendum? Which is you listed a whole bunch of the limitations. Like which one of those, all of those limitations combined together, what is the use case? What is the scenario that says, ignore all of these things, this is better in this case? What is the thing that?
Yeah, so the main use case that is this works really well is something like Facebook timeline. Something like a massive list of things that needs to be updated. So if you're building a chat app where people can message you at any time, or I don't know, a Yelp type competitor that will live update links and people check in. Something that is constantly connected to a network that can update at any point in time, and will have to render and adjust it. That's
your
what I would
Facebook
say.
engineer doesn't know iOS.
That's
what it sounds like.
To answer your question, yes, I would use this on a project that I know I'll be maintaining, where there's developers or engineers on the other side that are using this type of platform. I wouldn't make this decision in isolation, selfishly. That is true.
No, I know. I mean, my concern is just how much it's exploiting existing preferences.
Yeah, and that's why I listed one of the biggest downfalls. It's different.
How does this compare, contrast? I've never used IG ListKit, which I understand that's its main purpose in life is dealing with massive scope that are going to be performant.
I haven't used that one personally either, so I'd be interested to see the benefits and how they work together. The question was around IG ListKit. That's also, I guess, made by Instagram, the same team. I wonder what their mindset was when building a different one. I'm not sure which one predates the other.
IG ListKit is really just for lists, like nesting stuff. Like each nested thing would have to be its own, what do they call it? List section controller. And that would get really hairy nesting that one way down. But yeah, that same one way and diffing re-rendering flow is weird.
Okay. So probably some of the same philosophy, but different details.
So what are the scenes where you can mix and match? Well, first of all, can you mix and match this with normal views and auto layout?
Yeah.
And what are the is it for view controller that you have to decide, or have the same controller that you have one part that's ComponentKit and one part that's
Yeah, so the question was around what are the scenes, how do you mix and match? I would divide it around view controllers. So a view controller can provide a component and be a component provider, then it's used to lay out with ComponentKit. If it's not, it'll render normally. So if you want to have a container view inside your massive other view controller that is laid out with ComponentKit, that's possible just by having that view controller control that. So that's the scene that I would divide it.
Does this make debugging UI issues more difficult because everything is so very tied together that you have some bugs exploiting over other things or other bugs? Is it how difficult to deal with this?
If you have a bug in your UI, it's in your component. So that's pretty simple. You still have access to the view debugger. It looks like it was laid out in auto layout. There's a couple container views around the components, but nothing really crazy when you look at the debugger. Basically, if your view is not looking right, it's your component is wrong.
So this is from Facebook and cross-platform solutions. Is there like an Android variant of this where your code can be shared or similar? Is it similar?
I think there is an Android version of this. I don't know if you can share code. I doubt that you can because it's Objective-C++. It probably has the same approach, same mentality and how they built it, but I don't think you can share code.
I'll add to what's redundant, but we haven't tried ComponentKit. We've tried a slew of other ones, layout kit, markup kit, and kit. We tried static kit, all this stuff. Each of these seem to address a certain performance hit. There's an auto layout. It doesn't take much to bring that to a flaw. Which is sad because our Android team just blows by us with normal things and their sort of layouts and architecture, like iOS. So we did have to design all these kits. But yeah, ultimately we do end up going back to the stock SDK. However, hacking it or using things for one of the reasons. Usually what we want is a kit that covers the entire app, not just like one view. And then you get fragmentation. So we don't want to deal with that. So that's usually a big thing that we say, okay, it's all or nothing. We can't get it all. Just stick with the stuff.
That's a good approach.
You mentioned performance gates. Have you ever had a situation where you've gone from using, say, auto layout to using ComponentKit of performance gates?
I haven't analyzed my performance in my applications in that way. There I kind of just look at the data that others have provided, and it seems like it's much higher performance.
I think it's Facebook and I don't know if it's ComponentKit, so it's not sure. Is this the one where they have a intermediate level or something that they process in the back end? Is that this one? So it's not ComponentKit, that's
Different one.
You said a problem with dealing with Savior. How have you migrated that? The apps that use this to deal with that? And if so, what are the issues that you
Yeah, it just wasn't really natively supported. Yet, safe areas usually from anywhere. UIKit, I had to pass that information down to the component and then put in set components to adjust for that. So I wish I didn't have to do that, and I'm sure they'll make updates to make it easier. Basically, it's if you're in UIKit, you thought there was a safe area, and you have to put a view constraint.
So at this point, you were SOL and you trying to support that until the frameworks.
No, you can't support it. You just need to add or put in set components around your stuff. So it's not ideal because you end up adding an extra constraint basically at the end of the day.
This might be more of a question, just something to look up afterwards, but given that it was written in Objective-C++, is this project fairly old, and was it like predating Swift? And
Mentioned the first question. I think they wrote it first in 2014, 2015. In one of their talks around it, they do mention Swift and switch over to it, but I haven't seen that materialize.
And then my follow-up sort of related question was, do you know what Facebook is using this for, or if they're still using it?
They are using it for the newsfeed as far as I can tell on Facebook. Otherwise, I could make some educating guesses, but I'm pretty sure the newsfeed is fully run on it.
So if you get an iOS job at Facebook, are you either writing Objective-C++ or React?
React Native is implemented in C++.
That's
Yeah.
why they pay so much.
Possibly. Get into that question.
I'm not sure if you have the answer to this, but is the performance enhancement as a result of it being Objective-C++?
That's an interesting one. I'm not sure about that. They say they do a lot of background threading to size components and render text. That could probably be done in any language, but maybe maybe there are finding performance gains because of that.
I was wondering because it's a lower level language, perhaps that we should put out.
Perhaps. Any more questions?
Have you tried anything like it or texture now? Because some like 2 years ago, I was looking for something like that, and I tried ComponentKit, but I found this problem because I can't really use the Swift. So I started using async like it because there is one issue of this version, and they say, oh, just use async like it, and it's the same like. In the beginning, they shared some code, but now, as like Scott Dodson, which is the core development of this project, moved to Pinterest like some years ago, and Pinterest heavily used that on every view controllers and everything, and it's pretty cool because you have this all the UI is on background threads, and it's very similar, but it supports Swift, and the API is very simple. With like Swift, more Swift.
Yeah, you should look into that. That history sounds a bit political between teams.
Because I know that Facebook have used that for these instant articles. It's built on top of the instant also this Facebook message have this built on top. And almost all Google apps use that, and also Pinterest use that. A person created that for paper app. And I use that for like 2 years with my app. It's amazing. Like my app is like 6 frames per second, and with white kit it's impossible.
Nice. So you have a positive experience with
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to kind of do a deep dive in comparisons.
And as you mentioned, like save carrot layouts, things like that, new APIs, it's very easy because you just have your like they have like node based. So the node you can like move, it's thread safe. It's like a UI view, but thread safe. And if you want to access the view anywhere from main thread, it's just dot view, and you have the view, and you have like safe carrot layouts.
This sounds like a good idea for a talk for next month.
Someone's really good at async.
Yeah, I have comments.
So if I have a project based on Swift, and you say this one is not very compatible with Swift, and this is for controller-based stuff, I create a controller with operator C even Swift because Swift is incompatible with operator you can mix with things, and use the object C view controller to call this ComponentKit. Is that possible to like integrate from a original Swift?
Yeah, I think that's possible. You'll need to do a couple of bridging from Swift objectives. This will follow that. That's kind of stuff I try to avoid usually, but it is possible. Great. Thanks, everyone.